In May this year, the government extended a ban on the export of some grains and cereals to ensure food security as Russia's war with Ukraine disrupted global food supply chain. The ban, which took effect in September 2021, was due to expire at the end of March, but was extended to September 2022. Ahead of the extension, a Joy News documentary, Broken Chain, was put together to track the impact of the ban on the sector.
Ghana's regions of the north are major producers of soyabean, accounting for about 90% of trades soyabean in the country. The Planting for Food and Jobs era saw yields rising only to between 1.7 and 1.8 metric tons per hectare. This remains well below what Ministry of Food and Agriculture in 2017 believed are achievable yields of 3.0 metric tons per hectare. Chairman of the Soya Value Chain Association of Ghana, Thomas Bello, confirms this impact.
Every year when the budget is going to be prepared, they come and ask us for input. And I was consistently putting in that there must be commercial farming for raw materials in Ghana, especially soybeans, because most of us have put up plants with big capacities and we can't utilize them. I used to have 100 workers, but now where are they now? Because I don't have raw material to process. Luckily enough, a new government came in, they listened to what we were saying, and they came with a program called Planting for Food and Jobs. So, and it has worked so well because the government came in with a lot of motivations in terms of subsidized inputs like planting seeds, fertilizers, and all other, with even free technical assistance. So for the first time, the soybean production went up, shot up quadruply.
The soybean industry is broken down into segments based on the value chain drivers. After the farmers produce, traders, often contracted by aggregators, travel to the villages to buy for the aggregators. The aggregators in turn supply to the factories for processing. Here at the Abuabu market in Tamale, we meet Alhaji Abdul Karim, a soyabean aggregator and supplier for 15 years. They are now competing with foreigners for supply from the farmers.
At the moment, because the master and Nemano team, we ban on who say, you turn Nemani challenges. And the forwardness, challenges. And the forwardness no so, was through chair. Because said the was through the chair, you started by year 200. Who say you started to 200, no more cut to 220, 220. Let's add the Omichi. I could the same 220, 220, no more side jump to 240. 240 no less, I do not know more 270. On one dinner 270. To say 270 in the equation, so I'm more cut on 300. And the 10 be almost through. Che. Almost through the more than a message meant to me, Yenyaman at me suppliers company for. And to see there, the better man Yenyaman yen to me young. A quaint beer the affair. Sir Fordness no more was through chair. And the farmers no so more demand or more price no cost room, sir, no more salmon number Fordness no. The Fordness no more Sunday man in lay a factor so your company so yen to me Yenyaman. Because and net and no very almost free ban. Some farmers in market for the almost ban and can net and KSM in Yenima by $200. But in a year, $2 in the two.
The foreigners, especially of Indians, have taken over the market.
At first, you could have a week, you could have load at least more than $500 or $1,000 a week. But now they are to get even 300 to supply to your people is difficult. They are selling the things in dollars, whilst we are selling it in cedis. So when they came with their dollars, they buy it any amount of money that they want. Maybe they can buy, for instance, assume we are buying 240 per 100 kg here. They can buy it 260.
Fatima is one of those aggregators that go to the villages themselves to buy from the farmers. Through an interpreter, she angrily tells us the company she supplies to has shut down because she and her colleagues are unable to supply.
So if there's no change of the price, the market, then they will close the company down. So the Indians, and so when they come, so they should meet the citizens of the town. They rather enter to the bush. Listen, as this and 4 million. If you are an Indian man, you want to, you buy 400. And those who are buying it, those who buy it to come and sell it today, if they buy it 400 and come, how much are they going to sell it? They are selling it 260. So they are no more getting the sales. So if I get 4 million, what should I sell my go as 260 Ghana cedis?
That was the broken chain. A follow-up was done with the soyabean aggregator to find out the impact of the extension of the ban on the export of cereals. An aggregator, Swalihu Bashiru Mohammed, indicated that although there was a ban, foreigners kept breaking the value chain and purchasing directly from the farm gates.
In every economy, you need a foreign exchange. It's a very good thing we have foreigners who are interested in our product. It's a very good thing, it's a positive thing. But you see, when you go to abroad and elsewhere, what they do is that when any commodity that you need, you have to go through brokers. You have to go through series of a chain in order to get it, so that the chain wouldn't be broken. But this is a case that we have foreigners who have infiltrated our market. We are going to the farm gate to compete with local people. And that is very challenging and that is very worrying. We are not saying they shouldn't export, but the right thing has to be done. It has to pass through the right process.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry, together with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they've extended the ban at all. What do you make of this? Is it really good? Have you started feeling impact?
Oh yes, because we are operating in an open environment or open market, no matter what, some of these things are some of the shocks that determines how the market moves. Even though the world market has started declining for African goods, because Malawi, mostly on the international market, we have Malawi and Ghana goods competing. Malawi, their season starts from now. By early next month, the soya from Malawi will come into the world market. And because of that, prices over here, because it has been escalating, new products, mostly the price will drop a little, and when it drops, everybody moves to Malawi to also try to take advantage of the new crop season that is starting. So before even the ban, the Indians and the foreigners were already moving out of the market bit by bit, because they were diverting to Malawi to see how best they can also take advantage of the low prices over there.
Do you think 6 months is enough to revive the sector?
Well, I believe this question would be left to the government officials, because in the best interest of the agric minister, he controls the whole agric sector. He has the requisite information and he knows the best alternative that he has to put in place with regards to these policies, and make sure that both the international body and then the local body, we are all getting at least a smooth flow of business running.
I'm sure you've seen some stories going around that some of the farmers or some of the industry players are saying that their soyabean is getting rotten in their warehouses on their farms because they are not able to export. So they are against the ban. What do you have to say?
You see, what happens is that, first of all, soyabean is not a product that gets rotten, because the moisture content and the oil content in soyabean doesn't create an enabling environment for it to rot. If soyabean is stored and it doesn't come in contact with water, it can be there for more than 3 years and nothing happens to it. So I don't understand where the rotten, even the word rotten is coming from.
Some people would say that the farmers prefer the foreigners because they pay higher. Do you think the same thing?
You see, it's a supply chain. The supply chain comprises of the farmer, the aggregator, who also give them assistance to go through all their farming process. We have the processor, we have the feed miller or the poultry farmers who are the end users of this produce. When you go outside, it's the same thing. Soyabean is given to the poultry or the animal industry. Then you get your oil, which is used domestically. You understand? So let's say the farmer is happy, fine. You are happy that they are there offering high prices. But think about the supply chain. You have a lot of companies here. You have your brothers and sisters in the supply chain. Because when you buy from the local market, first of all, you are buying from Gishebu. You are conveying the goods from Gishebu to Tamale market, to your warehouse. You have a local transport. One, right there we are creating employment. You have the local people who would do the loading and offloading. It's in a direct employment to them. You have the market women. Every market day, you have people who move from Tamale to all the villages to make sure that they get these products for us. That is a huge employment gap. I hope you understand. So if for just only one farmer, you are going to cut off all these people, imagine the impact. So let's look at the broader impact rather than just looking at what the foreigner is in there to like the mess the person is in there to cause. Even though the farmer will say, okay, fine, I'm getting a high price. But you ask yourself, what about your brother who went to school? He's working in a company. What is going to happen to him? All these local companies have shut down almost years now. Some 1 year, some 2 years, some more than even 8 months and all that. You ask yourself, what is happening to their employees? What is happening to the drivers that are doing this local distribution? What is happening to the poultry industry? What is happening to the food industry? Because nobody can tell me in this country that he or she doesn't use oil. We all use it. Yeah. So at the end of the day, if they come and offer high prices and make sure, it will still come and hit the market. Today, how much is 25-liter gallon of oil? It's somewhere around 400 and something today. Yeah. We were just last year, it was around 120 to 135. So everything, like the negativity of this thing, moves a long chain to affect everybody.
Months later, the Soya Value Chain Association of Ghana began an advocacy program named the Soyabean Roundtable. Executive Secretary for the association, Yao Efrifa, indicated that the program is to improve communication between government and stakeholders.
In 2018, we started having a challenge in our value chain. Foreigners from Turkey, Indians, Chinese are jammed onto the local market buying soya. Apparently, because our soya is non-GMO and that the prices were quite low at that time, they took advantage to our market. There was no control, so what it started developing was price hikes. So between 2018 and 2020, a kilogram or 100 kg bag that sold at 100 Ghana cedi was selling at almost 400, 500 Ghana cedi. And our local processors who were leaning on purely credit from our farmers wouldn't get it again because now there was ready market. Even if they had money, they weren't that solid to be able to buy at that price and still make profit in their industry. So there was so much agitation from them. We went to governments and advocated that there should be some form of control. The government consulted us in what they should do, and then said fine, they were going to form a committee. So the committee was set up But between 2019 and 2021, we had not seen anything about it, though Parliament had given approval for the committee to be set up. After 2021, we went to verify what was happening, and they told us that the committee had been formed, but they were still working on documentation. We became a little bit worried because then the LI that formed the committee instructed that one member, a producer of soya beans, should be elected by Ministry of Agriculture to be on the committee, and all others were technical people, SEBS, Immigration, Ministry of Trade, and so forth. And so we realized that between the time the LI was given and even when they started implementation, there were a lot of things that should have been done, but they couldn't do because we realized that those who were working were only looking at regulatory procedures. There were other things that should have been done that were not done. And because the chairman of this committee happens to be the chief director of Ministry of Trade and Industry, so we asked them, what has that chairman got to do with the soya industry? He's a lawmaker or and a technocrat. And so we realized that the committee had been formed, but it didn't serve our purpose. Now, in 2021, they came up with the first ban restricting this thing there. And we, again, were not consulted as to what to do or how to do things. All we realized was that there is a ban on it. That was good for the processor, but it was a dangerous thing to the farmer.
Why? Because
then the exporters realized that there was no place for them to export, and so they were not buying. So prices started coming down. Meanwhile, the cost of production of soya had gone up, and so the farmers started losing up, and so they also started agitating. So October this year, we decided to come together again, because as a value chain, I have the farmers, I have the processors, I have everybody in there. So I couldn't sit where my farmers are asking me for the lifting of the ban, my processors are asking me for the laying of the ban. So let's come together and let's discuss, because there should be a balance. So, and I couldn't take that decision for them. So I called all of them. We invited the Peasant Farmers Association, NASDAQ, National Seed Traders Association, all together, and then let's talk about this thing. At the consultative meeting on October 7th, 2022, the Ministry of Trade and Industry then came up to explain that they said a temporary ban. They didn't say a permanent ban. And technically, that word means that they are only restricting exports. They are not stopping exports. And so we realized that just after the ban, Ministry of Agriculture gave permit for another company to export. We were like, what is happening? And so it was there that we understood.
Was the company Ghanaian?
A Ghanaian company. Okay. So we were trying to even fish, who is this company? Is it politically inclined or something? But we realized that, oh, okay, so then that was our challenge. One big issue was, as a value chain association, we didn't understand the implications of this ban. It means that there is a communication gap between our own committee and our association. So it's a fine, let's come to a round table, decide what to do, and give government that comfort that this is coming from all stakeholders in the seed or the grain industry. So we did that and realized that there were certain issues that needed to be done, not necessarily laying of the ban, because then when they instituted the ban, the processor that was being protected, they were not liquid enough to buy a grain. There were few companies that were doing like Vesta Oil and maybe Ghana Nuts. All the others had totally collapsed. And so we decided to set some position on it. We have about 6 or so positions that we needed to make government hear about it. But we also realized that was a leadership of the association. Why don't we go to the grassroots? So last 2 days we were in WA, consulting with the region at the regional level, at the district level at WA. And then today we are here to also do one for Tamale, for the northern region, to hear from the very people, the people on the grassroots, to tell us whether they agree with us on the stand. While there was one or two other changes, here we have gotten about another change also that they think that we should amend it. And I'm believing that with the recommendations that we have done, some of these things we've just spoken about will be corrected.
What if they are not corrected?
We will keep on talking. We elected government, and those in the ministries are our brothers. I believe that it is just miscommunication. Sometimes it looks like as if their operational style is quite detached from us, which shouldn't have been so. I am calling for a better working relationship between civil society and then technocrats.
The Soyabean Roundtable is based on the theme Strengthening Partnership for Growth and Sustainability, in a bid to ensure that the advocacy program is properly understood by value chain actors. The association inaugurated regional value chain committees. Present at the Soyabean Roundtable was Acting Northern Regional Director for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Hawa Musa. According to her, the solution to address the invasion of foreigners in the sector is to implement a standard pricing scheme.
Today's meeting is one that we expected for a very long time. So I can say that I'm very excited for such an event to be organized today. Because looking at the current trends, there is the need for actors, not only in soybean, but in different crops to come together and have a common say. Like through the discussions, it came out that there's a need for actors to also have a say in the policy direction of the commodity, which is right, because they are on the field and they can best advise policy.
So they say they hope that their sector would soon grow to become like the cocoa sector. Do you think this is feasible?
Why not? The demand for soybean is so great now that if we harness it, it may even surpass cocoa.
Just yesterday, the Ghana Revenue Authority in Tamale issued a memorandum that stated that there is a ban on exportation of cereals, soybean included. What is the role of the
West Africa is an open market.
It's not the first time the ministry has issued a ban, or a ban of this sort has been issued. How sure are we that this will be sustainable?
Yeah, the ministry gave a communique on it this year. But I know it wasn't time for harvesting yet, especially the parts of the northern Ghana. And now that we are seriously harvesting, October, November, December, we realize that yes, on the market we can't even track some of the food stuff because of people, Ghana not positioning itself to purchase the soybean at the farm gate. So other people are able to go to the farm gate, negotiate and buy. So I also advise that the government to also do what it can do to mitigate the exportation or illegal smuggling of our food from the country. And the government can do that by offering fair prices to our farmers. And where there are value chain actors like you, then you can also stand in to assist the government in getting the produce locally for our local consumption.
But you have touch on the ground with the farmers here. What has been your engagement with them? What are they saying? Are you taking it back to government, or what is the relationship like?
Yeah, we actually, farmers are saying that, well, cost of doing business in agriculture is high. And if somebody should offer them better price, they sell because it's a free market. So actually, you can't tell the farmer, don't sell, because the farmer is an individual. And the farmer should sell, because for West Africa, it's an open market. And I think there are laws continental trade or something that we used to do. Until now, it wasn't a problem. Anytime farmers had market, both domestically and externally, we in the food and agriculture really appreciate it. It's only that we are looking at the current trends where there are food shortages worldwide. So we will have to sensitize our farmers to, and then offer them good markets. There should be a policy of purchasing from the farmers, just competing with the buyers from outside. That's all we can do. But we can't tell a farmer not to sell. And then those exporting or buying to cross to the neighboring countries, if there is, we can tell them, okay, you are free to buy, but this is the tax component we are going to put on every kilogram of cereal that you buy or the banned products that you buy. And if it's not lucrative for them, they will not buy it. So government has two ways: either giving the farmer a fair price and picking the foodstuff, or buyers within Ghana should do that. Then they will not find the external market attractive. Or fine, open market, but if you are taking it out, this is the tax component to it.
So what is the gap there? Because if these people are stationed there,
yes,
and yet foreigners are still transporting or exporting our produce, well, what do you think may be the gap in there?
Oh, well, you see, they said there is a law that so long as you don't cross the barrier, it means the foodstuff is still in Ghana. So when they get there, they are not able to cross. They will just turn and do as if they are going back to Yendi, especially the Tatali side. Maybe midnight or something, I don't know. Then they are able to cross with it. Yeah, but I think with the ban, it's welcome. We'll all put in efforts to curb it. But like I said, it's a free market. All that we want to encourage our government to buy from the farmers too. That's all. And it can be done.
Then the ministry started something recently, buying and selling at the markets themselves.
No, that's not the ministry's mandate. I think our minister wanted to prove a point, which is in the right direction, because he keeps saying that the food in the hinterland is cheap, which is true. Transporting it and other added costs sometimes may make the food so high on the market.
Considering that there is no proper regulation of the sector, no a permanent ban but just an export restriction since 7th October 2002, the association at the end of the roundtable put together a position paper to be presented to government on policy formulation for the sector.